A great slam and then some.
Alright, let's try the fucking Game Grumps way. One day, I was walking down the street. There was a man. He said hi to me, but I was uncomfortable because I have social anxiety, so I just kind of gave him a head nod. But then I thought that was a mistake, because then he would think I was unfriendly. Well, I'm not an unfriendly person. I just get nervous sometimes in situations where I can't control my surroundings, because I'm a control freak in some ways because of my anxiety. I like to be in control at all times, because if I'm not, then I get uneasy and I start fucking things up in my... Ooh. I can't... Fuck! God damn it! I can't take some social situations because I get very nervous, and I'm always scared of fucking saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, becoming unpopular with people, especially people I don't know. And then even sometimes in groups of friends that I've known for years, I seem to become more of the life of the party, because I feel if I don't, then people will think I'm not as cool as I think I am. And shit! Fuck! God damn it! I thought to myself one day, I need a loaf of bread, because I like to have bread in the house, and I used to eat white bread, but my girlfriend is a very healthy person, so she decided to put me on wheat bread, because she lives by the term, the whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. So I thought to myself, well fine, fuck it, I'll try wheat bread. And you know what? It's really not that bad. I like to eat toast and chocolate milk. I don't know why, but people think that is strange. I like to make 2 pieces of toast, rip them in half, and dip them inside of my chocolate milk. Fuck! Aaron, this method doesn't work very well. I don't like flowers. I'm not the kind of person who thinks picking flowers at... Fuck! Picking flowers is murdering plants. That smell when you mow the grass, that's their danger warning. Fuck, that's them crying out for help because they have no voice to speak for themselves. They need a guardian ad litem to be able to speak for them. Vegetarians are monsters as well. There's no part of this earth that we can take and eat that doesn't hurt or kill something else. Fuck! I don't like amusement parks because I'm a pussy. Roller coasters scare me, and rides, again, it goes back to being in control. I'm not in control when strapped to a fucking machine. Fuck! Marijuana gives me panic attacks. I don't much care for them. I don't much care for it because it only takes a couple of hits off a joint for me to be completely in panic mode and calling an ambulance because I think I'm going to have a heart attack. People think this doesn't exist. People think anxiety isn't real. And I tell you one thing, it's fucking real, and I have it in spades. People are like, oh, pot's supposed to calm you down and help your anxiety. And I'm like, fuck no. I didn't even know what a panic attack was until I started getting them from smoking weed. But what's funny about that was I was a straight pothead for about 5 fucking years of my life. Non-stop, smoke weed every day, all day, every day. Smoke weed every day. But for some reason, eventually, I started having panic attacks. So I had to stop smoking weed. And I quit, and it was pretty easy once I realized it was negative. So then, fuck. Eventually, after I blamed pot for so long for giving me panic attacks, about 5 years after that, I started getting panic attacks with no triggers. They just would happen. And I was in and out of the hospital for almost a solid year before they decided to diagnose me with anything, and they ended up just saying it was a mental disorder and nothing wrong with my actual body. Which in a way, that made me happy, but in another way, it just made me more anxious because I thought they were just giving me a blanket excuse because they couldn't find anything wrong with me. Which maybe later on in life, later on in the world, fuck my ass, they will actually find a medical reason of anxiety disorder and they will actually fix it instead of these experimental drugs that don't really work. I've been on a list of drugs from, I don't even know what they were called. This game makes me angry. I don't know why it decided to be this hard. It looks kid-friendly, but it's about Satan. I don't know what the point of this game is. It's really not for anybody. I don't know. Like, what person would decide to punish themselves so badly? When I was a little younger, I hung out with these people. Fuck it, I'll say the name. Lori Wheeler was a person who was a little older than Paul and I. And she decided to have a party where she had something called jungle juice. Which, if you don't know what jungle juice is, it's a giant trash can filled with a total mix of 1,000 different alcohols and fruit and stuff like that. And I don't really drink, so whatever. But Paul is an alcoholic. We all know this. So fuck. So Paul, in his infinite wisdom, kept going back after the party to finish off the jungle juice, because no matter how many patrons you have at the party, no one's going to finish off an entire trash can of alcohol. So Paul and I would continuously go back so Paul could finish the jungle juice. God damn it! Back to jungle juice. Alright, so when I was younger, I used to take my guitar everywhere with me. But it's kind of heavy after carrying it for so long. So it was good to have Paul there, because at some times he could carry my guitar for me. However, this time he was very drunk, and we would always take something called the trestle home. Fuck! The trestle was a giant bridge that was nothing but train tracks, with really nowhere to walk outside of other train tracks. So Paul and I, 3 o'clock in the morning, are walking back to my house, going over the trestle with my guitar. I talked Paul into carrying my guitar. Fuck! We got stuck on the trestle with a train coming. Painting you a picture, there's at least 4 feet between tracks. The train was coming. We didn't know what to do. We were stuck on the trestle. Paul narrowly escaped, and the train actually hit my headstock of my guitar. That's how close we came to dying that night. Or at least Paul. There's a lot of Paul drunk stories. One time, Paul and I, drinking. What a surprise. Of course, I wasn't drinking, but Paul was. Back then, I was a lot more goth than I am now. Lots of eyeliner, and like fishnet, and, you know, trip pants, and, you know, whatever the fuck. So after a long night of drinking, and Paul drunk, fuck! Paul's completely sloshed. No cognitive thought whatsoever. We're walking, and it's daytime. It's early morning time. The sun has come out. Things are going on. We're taking these alleys and back roads by Charlie's Coffee Bar back then. However, since all the buildings back there kind of looked the same, Paul thought we were somewhere we weren't, and he started hollering for one of our friends named Sprout. However, Sprout did not live there. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Oh. So Paul is screaming at the top of his lungs for Sprout. Sprout! Sprout! I keep telling him to be quiet because we're not where he thinks he is, but he keeps screaming for Sprout because he thinks his window is above us, but it isn't. Eventually, I don't know, some regular jack-off decides to call the police because someone's screaming outside an alley. So the cops show up, and Paul always had this attitude where he could act like he's sober when he's drunk. However, he never fucking could. So, you know, that's a thing. The cops show up, and Paul is trying to prove that he's sober, but it's really just funny. The cops know he's drunk, so they make him do all kinds of weird shit. Oh, to preface, to add another piece of the puzzle, we have the half-gallon of alcohol with us, and I have it in my clothes bag. What? What? I have a brown paper bag full of clothes. with the vodka bottle in the bag. Now, it's open, and we're walking around with it, and the cops are there. So I'm freaking out, but yet I'm keeping cool. They make Paul almost go to the ground with his hands on the base of the cop car, but is expected to stay on his feet. So Paul not only does not do this correctly, but he throws up on the ground in front of the cop car, which is fucking comical. It's not helping our situation, but it's comical. So the cops are talking to me, and I'm talking about, oh yeah, I have plans to go to college and blah, 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 blah. Trying to make them think that even though I'm a goth kid, I have, you know, something going on in my life, which I don't, even now. So I'm talking us down out of trouble. And eventually I get them to let us not be in trouble. In fact, after they search us, and the bag, by the way, but I deter them from the bag, saying, oh, that's just my clothes because I'm staying the night over at Paul's house. That's where we're going right now. Oh my god. So he puts like a finger in the bag and moves like one shirt over to see there's more clothes and says, ah, fuck it. They're just clothes. So once he's decided that he's not going to take us to jail, there's two cops actually. Once they both decide that we're just teenagers and we just need to go sleep it off or whatever, and they're not going to take us to jail, they offer us a ride back to Paul's house, which we take because we kind of feel like if we don't take it, we're going to go to jail, which is probably true because they didn't want us out on the streets anymore. So, we are in the cop car giving us a ride back to Paul's house. God damn it. Paul's kind of going in and out of consciousness at this point, in the back seat of the car. I'm in the back seat of the car too. They're kind of talking to me, we're kind of cutting up and blah blah blah, making small talk. We get to the fucking house. They watch us walk in the house. As we go into the door, I say, Paul, I still have the vodka. Paul starts freaking out. I'm like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. We get in the house and Paul starts almost crying. He's so happy that I still have the bottle of vodka. He could not believe that I hid it from the cops. And then he kept drinking. It was quite a day. But he eventually passed out playing PlayStation. Because that's what Paul does. One time, back when I was a pothead, I had a friend who lived with me named Derek. And he had a fucking like kind of box van. Like an Astro, kinda. Anyway, we were really big potheads back then. And I had a lot of friends who lived very close by me. Derek and I were like the party, whatever. Like people would come to our house to party. But it was still my mom's house at the time, so we'd always party outside because Derek had a van, and we could party inside the box van, and nobody would really give a fuck. We lived on kind of a back street. The cops didn't really come around much, so we could pretty much do whatever we wanted to, and we wouldn't really have too much flack. So the party was always weed and hanging out. That was the party, every day, all day, every day. But this particular time, we had more weed than we normally have. We had like a couple of ounces or something like that, and that's usually about an ounce more than what we normally have. It doesn't matter. I don't really remember a lot of pot stuff. We just had a lot of weed, and we always had this giant like plexiglass thing to break weed up on. So Joe McIntosh, being the holder of the weed, I suppose, for that day. Shit, it's so hard to react to. He sat down and decided he was going to break this weed up. Well, what do? We decide that there's hold on. Please don't die. Oh, wait. Wait, who? What? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did I die? Is he dead? What happened? Double KO? I won! I fucking won! Oh my god! Oh man! So anyway, he was breaking up the pot. I found bottle rockets. So I was shooting bottle rockets off. However, I had one in my hand, say it's like this comb. I had it in my hand, I lit it, and somehow it flipped over like that before it shot. I'm outside of the van. Van door's open. He's got all this pot broke up on his lap, still working on it, right? On this big plexiglass thing. I light it, it falls over, and it shoots and goes right underneath of it. Now, Joe McIntosh at the time understands the situation, and he just starts going like this. What do I do? What do I do? Because he can't get up, or we lost like $100 worth of weed. And he he's sitting there like this, and he goes, and pop, it goes off. He's like, I'm okay. And then he starts going back to bring another pop, but his hands are shaking real bad. And then we just got high, and that was the party. But it was fun.